Hello, and welcome to our first webinar on integrating virtual reality into the classroom. This is brought to you by Field Trip VR. This webinar should last about 30 minutes, and at the end I'll answer any questions that have not already been answered. On the right side of the screen next to the video, you'll see a chat section if you are logged in with a Google account. Throughout the webinar, you can chat with others, and my colleague Scott will also be there to answer any questions. Throughout this webinar, we'll cover a variety of topics, including what is virtual reality or VR, the benefits of virtual reality, ways you can use VR in the classroom, a video demoing Google Expeditions where you can see what it looks like from both the student and teacher perspectives, a sample lesson plan that incorporates virtual reality, a brief overview of Field Trip VR, and then finally any questions that you might have. So let's start with what is virtual reality. Virtual reality is a simulation of a three-dimensional image or environment. When students are wearing the virtual reality headsets, they can look all around them in order to see the image on the screen. Therefore, they can look left, right, up, or down in order to view the scene in 360 degrees, simulating the experience of actually being there. With the latest summer craze of Pokemon Go taking over the streets, a lot of people have heard about augmented reality as well. In augmented reality, you see what is around you normally. However, there is another image layer on top of it. Like in this picture, where my dog looks like she's hiding from a Smurf. There are several benefits of virtual reality, and research has proven that it will increase student engagement and learning for all students. VR is also extremely beneficial for students with ADHD and disabilities, since it provides for a kinesthetic and immersive experience in order to learn the content. When learning complex ideas and concepts that are difficult to see, such as inside the human heart and how it works, virtual reality allows students to see inside up close and helping them to better understand what they are learning. This graph from Business Insider shows how consumers feel when they watch VR content. At the very least, 65% of the people surveyed were interested in the subject matter being displayed. So imagine how your students might feel when they actually use VR. In another survey based on students from the Technology Academy at the Pacific Science Center, when asked a series of questions out of 7 points, the researchers found overwhelmingly positive views and reactions toward VR from students. So what do teachers think about VR? In a recent survey conducted by Samsung, 85% of teachers agreed that VR would be beneficial in the classroom, and 84% believed that it would increase student motivation. Therefore, not only do students enjoy VR, but educators also recognize that it has several benefits to student learning. So what can you actually use VR for? So while we know that VR is beneficial to student learning, and students and teachers enjoy VR, how can it be used in the classroom? There are many ways that VR can be used in the classroom, including simulating an experience, such as a roller coaster or flying like the Wright brothers. They can explore inaccessible areas like outer space or human organs. They can travel to different places throughout the world, and they can further students' learning to content. So say we wanted to go on an expedition. Now that we have discussed the benefits of virtual reality and how it can be used in the classroom, let's see what it looks like in real time. At Field Trip VR, we use Google Expeditions, which is a new app released by Google to bring virtual reality into the classroom. When going on an expedition, there are 4 steps. First, the teacher will download the desired expedition on their device prior to class. During class, when it is time for the expedition, the teacher will open the expedition app on their device and choose to be a guide. At the same time, the students will open the expedition app on their device and choose to be an explorer. Finally, the teacher will take the students on the expedition and read the overviews and for each scene along with questions to the students. As you can see in the picture, the phone on the left is the teacher view and the phone on the right is the student view. when the student device, is placed in the headset, the two images become one, allowing the students to see in virtual reality. We are now going to watch a video that shows what it looks like for both the student and the teacher when taking an expedition. It is important to note that the teacher will have their own device that they hold, while the students have both the device, which is a phone, and the VR headset that the phone is placed in. The students will then wear the headset so all they can see is what is displayed on the screen. On the left is the student view, and on the right is the teacher view. We're now going to look at the first expedition, which is Gettysburg National Military Park. As you can see on the left, the student is told to place their phone into their viewer, while the teacher will look at their phone in a vertical position. The face is where the students are looking, so the teacher can see exactly where each student is looking during the expedition. During the expedition, the teacher can switch between scenes and then teachers can read the descriptions to the students along with the questions. They can also draw their students' attention to certain scenes within each scene, such as the Union line on the horizon. We're now going to go look at inside the human heart, which will be a great science expedition. If a student is looking in a different direction, an arrow will point the student in the direction to look, Again, it's important to note that although we might see right now that the students are actually looking at two separate screens, when the phone is placed into the headset, these two screens will become one and they will see just one image. So in order to take your students on a field trip, like the one we just watched, you only need three things: the student headset, the student device, and a lesson plan. Let's go through each of these things in more detail and what we at Field Trip VR can provide for you. So first we have our headsets. The Field Trip VR headsets meet Google's requirements for virtual reality, and using the expeditions with our headsets are also made of plastic and have a soft cushion around the face. This allows for a more comfortable and durable experience. Our headsets also have a strap around them, so the students do not have to hold the headset up to their face. And our student devices. The student devices we provide is the ASUS ZenFone 2. This device is the best one for the job and the most affordable when you purchase through Fieldtrip. Not only do our devices come preloaded with the Expedition app, but we also preload them with a variety of other apps, including Google Drive, Docs, ClassDojo, and Google Translate, just to name a few. Therefore, not only can you use these devices with VR in Expedition, but you can also use these devices every day in your classroom. While we are the most affordable company for virtual reality education bundles, what truly sets us apart and what no other company has are the accompanying lesson plans. As a former teacher, I know how important it is to make sure that the content is being covered and to not feel like you're losing a day just because you want to try something new. Our lesson plans can be seamlessly integrated into the curriculum, so you can continue teaching the content while also integrating virtual reality. Each of our lessons contain 3 separate documents: the lesson plan itself, the student worksheet, and the presentation with the slides. Within each lesson plan, you have the overview of the lesson, the aim, standards, objectives, activities, and differentiation techniques. Let's take a look at our sample lesson plan on Gettysburg. This can also be found on the website under the Lessons tab. Each lesson plan follows the same format, making it easy for educators to identify the important parts in the flow of the lesson. Within each lesson, there are several activities, and the teacher can choose to remove or edit the activity if they wish. We also provide differentiation tips and strategies in order to support all learners. The student lesson plan is a place where the students can write their answers throughout the lesson. And the PowerPoint is a deck of slides the teacher can use to present information. Along with all the questions from the Expedition app, there is also slide questions for the students that we ourselves wrote. During the Expedition activity, the teacher will pose the questions to the students, and then the students will remove their headsets to answer the question on their worksheet. Of course, the teacher is able to modify this to suit their class and their students' individual needs. So that's the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, I see that you guys have been talking quite a bit in the chat. There are also links to our website and our Facebook page, along with my email if you would like to contact me directly.